Hello, welcome to Nigo Inspirational. My name is Jennifer Idachaba. Some of my previous videos, I've talked about self-discovery and how to discover your self-worth and all that. But today I'm going to talk about what the effect of your upbringing and how it has turned you to, what it has turned you to as an adult, how you have become, and the place you have gotten into as a result of where you're coming from. For those of us who are Christians, the Bible says that train up a child in the way he should go, and when he's old, he will not depart from it. And even if you're not a Christian, I want you to understand one thing today, that wherever you are today, you are a makeup of your upbringing. Your history has a lot to say about where you are today, because it is the ingredients of your upbringing, your whatever your parents taught you, what the society taught you, and you took them in all hook, line, and sinker. And today, you are where you are. When you went to school, your teachers taught you some things, and those things you learned is what has made you into a doctor, a nurse, a lawyer, and whatever profession you are pursuing today is as a result of what you were taught. I want to start by talking about my upbringing and where it has brought me today. My upbringing, my parents did their best. They tried their best. But what they passed on to me is what they knew best about upbringing. And what they passed on to me is what they were taught. It doesn't have to be the correct thing, but that is all the things they knew on how to bring up a child. And the adult I am today is as a result of whatever I was taught. But when I grew up to a certain level and I began to see that some of the things I was taught was not the right thing, not because my parents didn't know how to bring up a child, but because that was the level of understanding of upbringing they had, I began to change some things because I had researched myself and I had gotten to understand that some things need to change. Some of my history need to be removed from my life, and let me begin to prepare for my future. I met a 7-year-old one day, and the 7-year-old was holding a 500 naira note, and I asked her, "Wow, you have money?" She said, "Yes." I said, "Well, what would you like to do with this money?" She said, "I'm going to use this money to buy myself a toy." And I said, "Really? That's the only thing you are going to do with your money?" She said, "Yes." "What is money for?" "Money is for you to use and buy things for yourself." And I smiled because I had already gotten to understand that the only thing that money is used for is not to buy something for yourself. Money is used to invest. Money is used to change lives. We do a lot of things with money. And I picked that from that child, and I continued my research until one day, like some months later, I met another child, and the child was given 100 naira note or so, and she kept it in her bag. And I asked her, "What do you want to do with this 100 naira note?" And she said, "I want to put it in my piggy bag." I said, "Why? Why do you want to put it in your piggy bag? You could use it to buy anything for yourself." She said, "No, my mommy told me that I should be saving money so that when it's Christmas, we can use it to buy some things for ourselves, and we can use some to buy our Christmas things. We can use some to do other things." And I smiled and I walked away. These are examples of two upbringing. And those upbringing, what those children are turning into is what they were taught. One child believes that money is to be thrown away, just not thrown away rather. Money is to be spent. As money comes into your hand, it's to be spent. Another believes that money can be saved, money can be invested. I grew up with the understanding that money, when my dad was alive and we're growing up, my dad, he wanted to make sure we had everything, and he was always making sure that our needs were met. And when my dad gives us money every morning, We go, we buy things, we spend it. We were never taught, because my dad too was never taught that the first priority what you should teach your children should be to invest. From childhood, we should begin to teach children how to invest. But I was never taught that until I became an adult. That's when I learned that investment was very important when it comes to the issue of money in your hands. I decided to use money as an excuse because it's one of the important aspects of our lives. But the same thing goes for other aspects of life. Some children are never taught. Today, when you come in contact with some adults, you get angry when they don't tell you thank you, when they don't tell you sorry, they don't tell you please, they don't ask for forgiveness, they don't apologize. And you get angry. These days, I don't get angry when I meet such people anymore. I don't get angry when I meet people who do not say thank you. I will get irritated sometimes. Can't this person even say thank you? But I've come to realize that some of those people were not taught how to say thank you. They were not taught how to say, oh, I'm sorry. They were not taught how to forgive. So I'm beginning to understand that. And when you understand this, it makes living with people easy. Because you know that these people who are adults now that you are dealing with are the result of where they are coming from. But like I said in my previous videos, if you have not sat down to research yourself, you will not be able to understand these things I'm talking about. So the adults that we are today are part of where we are coming from, part of the childhood and the upbringing that we had. And if we don't go back to research and search and get to understand what we learned from our parents that are not good for where we are today as adults, we cannot maximize our potentials. We cannot live our best life. So for you to live your best life as an adult, you first need to know, what did I learn as a child? What are the things I've carried over the years as my upbringing that is affecting me as an adult and is making me not to maximize my potentials, is making me not to live my best life? Those are the things I'm here to stir up in you today, for you to go back to your closet, go back to your history, go back and begin to see where you're coming from. What kind of parents did you have? What kind of upbringing did you have? What kind of home are you coming from? Are you coming from a home where you were brought up by just your mother? You were brought up by just your father? Are you coming from a home where it was a broken home, a polygamous home? Everywhere you will need to go back to your background, to your roots, for you to be able to understand yourself and understand where you are and how to live your best life. Like I always say, you need to go back to your root. What is in your roots? What is in your roots? If you do not discover your roots, you cannot maximize your potentials. You can't live your best life. So I just use that as an example for you to know the effect that your upbringing has on you. Many of the challenges we are having in the society today is because a lot of parents taught their children what they knew, and those adults have become what they are today. And you see, we have all kinds of people in the society today. We have people who grew up in a home where they were never taught some basic ethics and morals. Even though some were taught, but because they were not taught with the understanding that one day you are going to be an adult. Today they are what they are. And when they're already adults, it's beginning to become difficult to deal with them, to live with them, and to change them. The first 7 years of a child are the most important years of that human being. If you are able to take your time and make sure that the first 7 years that person is given the best knowledge about life, is taught the best things about life, is taught what life should be, and is given the right teaching, is given the right tutorial, that person will emerge a great woman, a great man. So some of the people you see today who seem to be living everything seems to be seamless for them. Apart from the fact that sometimes God's favor can take you to the places that you never dreamt you would be. But at the same time, some of those people are as a result of the fact that their parents have done a lot of homework. So as an adult today, I'm talking to you as an adult. It will also help you who are parents to teach your children the things that they need to know about life. Have you taught your child about life? Have you taught your children about other aspects of life? I'm going to be doing some series about teaching your children about life. But today I'm talking to you as that adult who is listening to me, who needs to discover himself, who needs to live his best life, who needs to maximize his potential. And I'm talking to you as that adult who needs to go back and research to know where you are coming from. What are the baggages you took up as a child from the upbringing, from your home? Sit down, write it down, dissect it, look within, and get rid of that enemy within. We'll soon be talking about the enemy within. That's another topic entirely. So I want you to go back. You are that person that God has called you to be, carrying so much potentials, so much gifts and talents, but they are trapped in a world that is in a mind that is warped, in a mind that is sometimes confused, in a mind that is carrying so much of past and future and present all mixed together. For those of us who are Nigerians, you will understand there are so many kind of soup that we make in Nigeria. There are some ingredients that you mix that you will not be able to eat that soup. The same goes to anybody who is listening to me now who may not be a Nigerian. There are things that you put together, you mix them up in the soup, and you will not be able to taste that soup. Imagine bringing bitter lemon, you put together with sugar, you put all kinds of things, every other thing, you put flour, you don't just mix them together without any recipe. By the time you have finished mixing, some can even kill you. And that is how some of our lives are. It's messed up. Because a lot of things we've carried along from childhood, from upbringing, we have mixed them up altogether. Now we cannot find ourselves. We need to begin to clean up and look at where we are and where we are coming from, and get rid of some of the baggages so that we can maximize our potentials and live our best life. Thank you for listening.